Section 9 of Readings for Insomnia, Cookery Books by Various. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Read by Verla Viera. Excerpts from the Jewish Manual, or Practical Information in Jewish and Modern Cookery, with a collection of valuable recipes and hints relating to the toilette. Edited by a lady. London, 1846. Editor's Preface. Among the numerous works on culinary science already in circulation, there have been none which afford the slightest insight to the cookery of the Hebrew kitchen. Replete as many of these are with information on various important points, they are completely valueless to the Jewish housekeeper, not only on account of prohibited articles and combinations being assumed to be necessary ingredients of nearly every dish, but from the entire absence of all the receipts peculiar to the Jewish people. This deficiency, which has been so frequently the cause of inconvenience and complaint, we have endeavored in the present little volume to supply. And in taking upon ourselves the responsibility of introducing it to the notice of our readers, we have been actuated by the hope that it will prove of some practical utility to those for whose benefit it is more particularly designed. It has been our earnest desire to simplify as much as possible the directions given regarding the rudiments of the art, and to render the receipts which follow clear, easy, and concise. Our collection will be found to contain all the best receipts, hitherto bequeathed only by memory or manuscript, from one generation to another of the Jewish nation, as well as those which come under the denomination of plain English dishes, and also such French ones as are now in general use at all refined modern tables. A careful attention has been paid to accuracy and economy in the proportions named, and the receipts may be perfectly depended on, as we have had the chief part of them tested in our own kitchen and under our own surveillance. All difficult and expensive modes of cookery have been purposely omitted, as more properly belonging to the province of the confectioner, and foreign to the intention of this little work, the object of which is to guide the young Jewish housekeeper in the luxury and economy of the table, on which so much of the pleasure of social intercourse depends. The various acquirements which in the present day are deemed essential to female education rarely leave much time or inclination for the humble study of household affairs, and it not unfrequently happens that the mistress of a family understands little more concerning the dinner table over which she presides than the graceful arrangement of the flowers which adorn it. Thus she is incompetent to direct her servant, upon whose inferior judgment and taste she is obliged to depend. She is continually subjected to impositions from her ignorance of what is required for the dishes she selects, while a lavish extravagance or parsimonious monotony betrays her utter inexperience in all the minute yet indispensable details of elegant hospitality. However, there are happily so many highly accomplished and intellectual women whose example proves the compatibility of uniting the cultivation of talents with domestic pursuits, that it would be superfluous and presumptuous were we here to urge the propriety and importance of acquiring habits of usefulness and household knowledge, further than to observe that it is the unfailing attribute of a superior mind to turn its attention occasionally to the lesser objects of life, aware how greatly they contribute to its harmony and its happiness. The cuisine of a woman of refinement, like her dress or her furniture, is distinguished, not for its costliness and profusion, but for a pervading air of graceful originality. She is quite sensible of the regard due to the reigning fashion of the day, but her own tasteful discrimination is always perceptible. She instinctively avoids everything that is hackneyed, vulgar, and commonplace, and uniformly succeeds in pleasing by the judicious novelty she introduces. We hope, therefore, that this unpretending little work may not prove wholly unacceptable, even to those ladies who are not of the Hebrew persuasion, as it will serve as a sequel to the books on cookery previously in their possession, and be the medium of presenting them with numerous receipts for rare and exquisite compositions, which, if uncommemorated by the genius of Vatel, Eudes, or Carême, are delicious enough not only to gratify the lovers of good cheer generally, but to merit the unqualified approbation of the most fastidious epicures. We ought, perhaps, to apologize for the apparent incongruity of connecting the toilette with the kitchen, but the receipts and suggestions comprised in the second part of the work before us will not, we trust, be considered misplaced in a volume addressed exclusively to the ladies. Many of the receipts are for articles in common use, but which, with proper directions, are prepared with greater economy and in a superior manner at home. The others are all original receipts, many of them extremely ancient, and given to us by a person who can vouch for their efficacy from personal experience and observation. We must now conclude our preliminary remarks, but cannot take leave of our patient readers without availing ourselves of the opportunity our editorial capacity affords to express our hope that with all its faults and deficiencies, the Jewish Manual may prove to them a useful assistant, and be fortunate enough to meet with their lenient, kind, and favorable consideration. Glossary. Aspie, a term used for savory jelly in which cold poultry, meat, etc. is often served. Bain-marie. This is a large pan filled with boiling water, in which several saucepans can be placed when their contents are required to be kept hot without boiling. This is a useful article in a kitchen, where the manner in which sauces are prepared is considered deserving of attention. Bechamel, a superior kind of white sauce used in French cookery. Blanquette, a kind of fricassee with a white sauce. Bola de mor, a very rich and expensive Spanish confection. Bolas, a kind of rich cake or pudding. Casserite, a sauce prepared from the cassata, a West Indian plant. It must be used with moderation. Casserole, a name given to a crust formed of rice baked and then filled with mince, fricassee, or fruit. Chorizo, a sausage peculiar to the Jewish kitchen, of delicate and piquant flavor. Consommé is a term now used for stock. It is a clear, strong broth, forming the basis of all soups, sauces, gravies, etc. Croquettes and rissoles, preparations of forcemeat formed into fancy shapes and fried. Croutons, sippets of bread or toast to garnish hashes, salmis, etc., are so called. Dolce, a mixture of sugar with almonds or coconut. Entrees. These are side dishes for the first course, consisting of cutlets, vol au vent, fricassees, fillets, sweetbreads, salmis, scallops, etc., etc. Entremets. These are side dishes for the second course. They comprise dressed vegetables, puddings, gâteaux, pastries, fritters, creams, jellies, timbales, etc. Farci, a French term for forcemeat. It is a mixture of savory ingredients used for croquettes, balls, etc. Meat is by no means a necessary ingredient, although the English word might seem to imply the contrary. Fondue and fondues are savory kinds of soufflés. Fricandeau, a term for small, well-trimmed pieces of meat, stewed in various ways. Fricassee. This is a name used for delicate stews when the articles are cut in pieces. Fricandelles. These are very small fricandeaux, 2 or 3 of which are served on one dish, and they sometimes also are delicate, but highly flavored minces, formed into any approved shapes. Flanks are large standing side dishes. Gâteau is a kind of cake or pudding. Hors d'oeuvres. These are light entrees in the first course. They are sometimes called assiettes volantes. They are handed during the first course. They comprise anchovies, fish salads, patties of various kinds, croquettes, rissoles, macaroni, etc. Maigre, made without meat. Matzo, Passover cakes. Miroton, a savory preparation of veal or poultry formed in a mold. Nouilles, a kind of vermicelli paste. Piqué, a French term used to express the process of larding. The French term is a preferable one, as it more clearly indicates what is meant. Purée is a term given to a preparation of meat or vegetables reduced to a pulp and mixed with any kind of sauce to the consistency of thick cream. Purees of vegetables are much used in modern cookery to serve with cutlets, scallops, etc. Ramequin, a savory and delicate preparation of cheese, generally served in fringed paper cases. Relève, or removes, are top and bottom dishes, which replace the soup and fish. Salmis, a hash, only a superior kind, being more delicately seasoned and usually made of cold poultry. Soufflés, a term applied to a very light kind of pudding, made with some farinaceous substance, and generally replaces the roast of a second course. Timbali, a shape of macaroni or rice made in a mold. Vol au vent. This is a sort of case made of very rich puff paste, filled with delicate fricassee of fish, meat, or poultry, or richly stewed fruits. Velouté, an expensive white sauce. Observations for the use of the cook. The receipts we have given are capable of being varied and modified by an intelligent, painstaking cook to suit the tastes of her employers. Where one receipt has been thought sufficient to convey the necessary instruction for several dishes, etc., etc., it has not been repeated for each respectively, which plan will tend to facilitate her task. We might, had we been inclined, have increased our collection considerably by so doing, but have decided from our own experience that it is preferable to give a limited number clearly and fully explained, as these will always serve as guides and models for others of the same kind. The cook must remember it is not enough to have ascertained the ingredients and quantities requisite, but great care and attention must be paid to the manner of mixing them, and in watching their progress when mixed and submitted to the fire. The management of the oven and the fire deserve attention, and cannot be regulated properly without practice and observation. The art of seasoning is difficult and important. Great judgment is required in blending the different spices or other condiments so that a fine flavor is produced without the undue preponderance of either. It is only in coarse cooking that the flavor of onions, pepper, garlic, nutmeg, and a shallot is permitted to prevail. As a general rule, salt should be used in moderation. Sugar is an improvement in nearly all soups, sauces, and gravies, also with stewed vegetables, but of course must be used with discretion. Ketchups, soy, Harvey's sauce, etc., are used too indiscriminately by inferior cooks. It is better to leave them to be added at table by those who approve of their flavor. Anything that is required to be warmed up a second time should be set in a basin placed in a bain-marie or saucepan, filled with boiling water, but which must not be allowed to boil, or the article will become hardened and the sauce dried up. To remove every particle of fat from the gravies of stews, etc., a piece of white blotting paper should be laid on the surface, and the fat will adhere to it. This should be repeated 2 or 3 times. It is important to keep saucepans well skimmed. The best prepared dish will be spoiled by neglect on this point. The difference between good and bad cookery is particularly discernible in the preparation of forcemeats. A common cook is satisfied if she chops or minces the ingredients and moistens them with an egg scarcely beaten. But this is a very crude and imperfect method. They should be pounded together in a mortar until not a lump or fiber is perceptible. Further directions will be given in the proper place, but this is a rule which must be strictly attended to by those who wish to attain any excellence in this branch of their art. Eggs for forcemeats, and for every description of sweet dishes, should be thoroughly beaten, and for the finer kinds should be passed through a sieve. A trustworthy, zealous servant must keep in mind that waste and extravagance are no proofs of skill. On the contrary, good cookery is by no means expensive, as it makes the most of everything, and furnishes out of simple and economical materials dishes which are at once palatable and elegant. Chapter 1. Soups. Stock or consommé. This is the basis of all kinds of soup and sauces. Shin of beef or ox cheek make excellent stock, although good gravy beef is sometimes preferred. The bone should always be broken, and the meat cut up, as the juices are better extracted. It is advisable to put on at first but very little water, and to add more when the first quantity is nearly dried up. The time required for boiling depends upon the quantity of meat. 6 pounds of meat will take about 5 hours. If bones, the same quantity will require double the time. Gravy beef with a knuckle of veal makes a fine and nutritious stock. The stock for white soups should be prepared with veal or white poultry. Very tolerable stock can be procured without purchasing meat expressly for the purpose, by boiling down bones and the trimmings of meat or poultry. The liquor in which beef or mutton intended for the table has been boiled will also, with small additions and skillful flavoring, make an excellent soup at a trifling expense. To thicken soups, mix a little potato flour, ground rice, or pounded vermicelli in a little water till perfectly smooth. Add a little of the soup to it in a cup until sufficiently thin. Then pour it into the rest and boil it up to prevent the raw taste it would otherwise have. The presence of the above ingredients should not be discovered, and judgment and care are therefore requisite. If coloring is necessary, a crust of bread stewed in the stock will give a fine brown, or the common browning may be used. It is made in the following manner. Put 1 pound of coarse brown sugar in a stew pan with a lump of clarified suet. When it begins to froth, pour in a wineglass of port wine, 1/2 ounce of black pepper, a little mace, 4 spoonsful of ketchup or Harvey's sauce, a little salt, and the peel of a lemon grated. Boil all together. Let it grow cold, when it must be skimmed and bottled for use. It may also be prepared as required by putting a small piece of clarified fat with 1 ounce of coarse sugar in an iron spoon, melting them together and stirring in a little ketchup and pepper. When good stock or consommé is prepared, it is very easy to form it into any kind of soup or sauce that may be required. Gravy soup. Take about 3 quarts of any strong stock, seasoned with a bunch of sweet herbs, a carrot, turnip, and a head of celery, which must not be served in the soup. Vermicelli, macaroni, or thin slices of carrot, and small sippets of fried bread cut in fancy shapes are usually served in this soup. Mock turtle. Half boil a well-cleaned calf's head, then cut off all the meat in small square pieces and break the bones. Return it to the stew pan with some good stock made of beef and veal. Dredge in flour, add fried shallot, pepper, parsley, tarragon, a little mushroom ketchup, and a pint of white wine. Simmer gently until the meat is perfectly soft and tender. Balls of forcemeat and egg balls should be put in a short time before serving. The juice of a lemon is considered an improvement. Mulligatawny soup. Take 2 chickens, cut them up small as if for fricassee. Flour them well. Put them in a saucepan with 4 onions shred, a piece of clarified fat, pepper, salt, and 2 tablespoonsful of curry powder. Let it simmer for an hour, then add 3 quarts of strong beef gravy, and let it continue simmering for another hour. Before sent to table, the juice of a lemon should be stirred in it. Some persons approve of a little rice being boiled with the stock, and a pinch of saffron is also sometimes added. English mulligatawny. Take a knuckle of veal, stew it till half done, then cut off the greatest part of the meat, and continue to stew down the bone in the stock. The meat must be cut into small pieces and fried with 6 onions thinly sliced, and a tablespoonful of curry powder, a dessert spoonful of cayenne pepper, and salt. Add the stock and let the whole gently simmer for nearly an hour, flavoring it with a little Harvey's sauce and lemon pickle. Soup à la julienne. Take a variety of vegetables, such as celery, carrots, turnips, leeks, cauliflower, lettuce, and onions. Cut them in shreds of small size. Place them in a stew pan with a little fine salad oil. Stew them gently over the fire, adding weak broth from time to time. Toast a few slices of bread and cut them into pieces the size and shape of shillings and crowns. Soak them in the remainder of the broth, and when the vegetables are well done, add all together and let it simmer for a few minutes. A lump of white sugar with pepper and salt are sufficient seasoning. Soup à la Turque. Make a good gravy from shin of beef and cut up very small various sorts of vegetables of whatever may be in season. Add spices, pepper, and salt. When it is all stewed well down together, set it to cool and take off the fat. Then place it again on the fire to boil, and add to 2 quarts of soup 1/4 pound of rice. Beat 2 yolks of eggs with a little of the stock, and when the rice is quite tender, stir them into the soup, taking the precaution not to let the soup boil, and to stir always the same way. Pepper pot. Cut small pieces of any vegetables and add pieces of smoked or salt beef, and also of any cold poultry, roast beef, or mutton. Stew all these together in 2 or 3 quarts of water, according to the quantity of meat, etc. It must be seasoned highly with whole peppers, allspice, mace, Jamaica pickles, and salt. It must be thoroughly stewed and served without straining in a tureen. Potato soup. Grate a pound of fine potatoes in 2 quarts of water. Add to it the trimmings of any meat, amounting to about a pound in quantity, a cup of rice, a few sweet herbs, and a head of celery. Stew well till the liquor is considerably reduced, then strain it through a sieve. If, when strained, it is too thin and watery, add a little thickening. It should be flavored only with white pepper and salt. Soup cressy. Grate 6 carrots and chop some onions with a lettuce, adding a few sweet herbs. Put them all into a stew pan with enough of good broth to moisten the whole, adding occasionally the remainder. When nearly done, put in the crumb of a French roll, and when soaked, strain the whole through a sieve and serve hot in a tureen. Carrot soup. Take a dozen carrots scraped clean, rasp them, but do not use the core, 2 heads of celery, 2 onions thinly sliced. Season to taste and pour over a good stock, say about 2 quarts. Boil it, then pass it through a sieve. It should be of the thickness of cream. Return it to the saucepan, boil it up, and squeeze in a little lemon juice, or add a little vinegar. Palestine soup. Stew a knuckle of veal and a calf's foot, and 1 pound of chorizo, and a large fowl in 4 quarts of water. Add a piece of fresh lemon peel, 6 Jerusalem artichokes, a bunch of sweet herbs, a little salt and white pepper, and a little nutmeg, and a blade of mace. When the fowl is thoroughly done, remove the white parts to prepare for thickening, and let the rest continue stewing till the stock is sufficiently strong. The white parts of the fowl must be pounded and sprinkled with flour or ground rice, and stirred in the soup after it has been strained until it thickens. A simple white soup. Break a knuckle of veal, place it in a stew pan, also a piece of chorizo, a carrot, 2 onions, 3 or 4 turnips, and a blade of mace. Pour over 2 or 3 quarts of water or weak broth. Season with salt, a sprig of parsley, and whole white pepper. When sufficiently boiled, skim and strain it, and thicken with pounded vermicelli. Vermicelli soup. Make a fine strong stock from the shin of beef, or any other part preferred, and add, a short time before serving, a handful of vermicelli, which should be broken, so that it may be in pieces of convenient length. The stock should be more or less flavored with vegetables and herbs, according to taste. Matzo soup. Boil down half a shin of beef, 4 pounds of gravy beef, and a calf's foot may be added, if approved, in 3 or 4 quarts of water. Season with celery, carrots, turnips, pepper and salt, and a bunch of sweet herbs. Let the whole stew gently for 8 hours, then strain and let it stand to get cold, when the fat must be removed. Then return it to the saucepan to warm up. 10 minutes before serving, throw in the balls from which the soup takes its name and which are made in the following manner. Take half a pound of matzo flour, 2 ounces of chopped suet, season with a little pepper, salt, ginger, and nutmeg. Mix with this 4 beaten eggs and make it into a paste. A small onion shred and browned in a dessert spoonful of oil is sometimes added. The paste should be made into rather large balls, and care should be taken to make them very light. Tomato soup. Take a dozen unpeeled tomatoes with a bit of clarified suet or a little sweet oil and a small Spanish onion. Sprinkle with flour and season with salt and cayenne pepper, and boil them in a little gravy or water. It must be stirred to prevent burning, then pass it through a sieve, and thin it with rich stock to the consistency of winter pea soup. Flavor it with lemon juice, according to taste, after it has been warmed up and ready for serving. Almondago soup, a superior white soup. Put a knuckle of veal and a calf's foot into 2 quarts of water, with a blade of mace and a bunch of sweet herbs, a turnip, a little white pepper and salt. When sufficiently done, strain and skim it, and add balls of forced meat and egg balls. A quarter of an hour before serving, beat up the yolks of 4 eggs with a dessert spoonful of lemon juice, and 3 ounces of sweet almonds, blanched and beaten with a spoonful of powdered white sugar. This mixture is to be stirred into the soup till it thickens, taking care to prevent its curdling. A fine vegetable or French soup. Take 2 quarts of strong stock made of gravy beef. Add to this carrots, turnips, leek, celery, broccoli, peas, and French beans, all cut as small as possible. Add a few lumps of white sugar, pepper, and salt. Let it simmer till the vegetables are perfectly soft, and throw in a few force meat balls. Asparagus soup. Take 8 pounds of gravy beef with 5 pints of water, a few sweet herbs, and an onion shred, with a little pepper and salt. When the strength of the meat is sufficiently extracted, strain off the soup and add it to a bundle of asparagus, cut small, with a little chopped parsley and mint. The asparagus should be thoroughly done. A few minutes before serving, throw in some fried bread, cut up the size of dice. Pound a little spinach to a pulp, and squeeze it through a cloth. Stir about a teacupful of this essence into the soup. Let it boil up after to prevent a raw taste. Soup maigre. Chop 3 lettuces, a large handful of spinach, a little chervil, a head of celery, 2 or 3 carrots, and 4 onions. Put them on the fire with half a pound of butter, and let them fry till slightly browned. Season with a little salt, sifted white sugar, and white pepper. Stew all gently in 5 pints of boiling water for about 2 hours and a half, and just before serving the soup, thicken it with the beaten yolks of 4 eggs, mixed first with a little of the soup, and then stirred into the remainder. Summer pea soup. Take a peck of peas, separate the old from the young, boil the former till they are quite tender in good stock, then pass them through a sieve and return them to the stock. Add the young peas, a little chopped lettuce, small pieces of cucumber fried to a light brown, a little bit of mint, pepper and salt, 2 or 3 lumps of sugar give a fine flavor. Winter pea soup. Soak a quart of white peas in water. Boil them till soft, in as much water as will cover them. Pass them through a sieve, and add them to any broth that may be ready. A little piece of chorizo or smoked beef will improve the flavor. This soup should be served with mint and fried bread. Giblet soup. Add to a fine, strong, well-seasoned beef stock of about 3 quarts, 2 sets of giblets, which should be previously stewed separately in 1 quart of water. The gizzards require scalding for some time before they are put in with the rest. White pepper, salt, and the rind of the lemon should season them. When they are tender, add them with their gravy to the stock and boil for about 10 minutes together. Then stir in a glass of white wine, a tablespoonful of mushroom ketchup, and the juice of half a lemon. It will require to be thickened with a little flour browned. The giblets are served in the soup. Barley soup. Put in a stew pan a knuckle of mutton, or 4 pounds of the neck, with 3 quarts of water. Boil it gently and keep it well skimmed. A sprig of parsley, a couple of sliced turnips, a carrot, an onion or more if approved, with a little white pepper and salt, are sufficient seasoning. A breakfast cupful of barley should be scalded and put in the stew pan with the meat. If when done, the soup is thin and watery, a little prepared barley, mixed smoothly, should be stirred in. Soup de poisson, or fish soup. Make a good stock by simmering a cod's head in water, enough to cover the fish. Season it with pepper and salt, mace, celery, parsley, and a few sweet herbs, with 2 or 3 onions. When sufficiently done, strain it, and add cutlets of fish, prepared in the following manner. Cut very small, well-trimmed cutlets from any fish. Sole or brill are perhaps best suited. Stew them in equal quantities of water and wine, but not more than will cover them, with a large lump of butter and the juice of a lemon. When they have stewed gently for about 15 or 20 minutes, add them to the soup, which thicken with cream and flour. Serve the soup with the cutlets in a tureen. Forcemeat balls of cod's liver are sometimes added. Oxtail soup. Have 2 well-cleaned tails and a neat's foot. Cut them in small joints and soak them in water. Put them in a stew pan with a large piece of clarified suet or fat, and let them simmer for 10 minutes. Then put to them between 3 and 4 quarts of cold water, 4 onions, a bunch of sweet herbs, a carrot, a turnip, a head of celery, and season with whole pepper, allspice, 2 or 3 cloves, and salt. Let it stew till the meat is tender enough to leave the bones. Then remove it from them, as the bones are unsightly in the soup. Thicken if necessary with browned flour, and just before serving, add a glass or more of port wine and a little mushroom ketchup. Chapter 2. Sauces. A rich brown gravy. Take a little good beef consommé or stock, a small piece of smoked beef or chorizo, a lemon sliced, some chopped shallots, a couple of onions shred, a bay leaf, 2 or 3 cloves, and a little oil. Simmer gently and add a little minced parsley and a few chopped mushrooms. Skim and strain. Sauce piquante. The above may be rendered a sauce piquante by substituting a little vinegar, whole capers, allspice, and thyme instead of the smoked beef and lemon. A few onions and piccalilli chopped finely is a great addition when required to be very piquant. A sauce like the above is very good to serve with beef that has been boiled for broth. A good gravy for roast fowls. Take a little stock, squeeze in the juice of a lemon, add a little mushroom powder, cayenne, pepper, and salt. Thicken with flour. Another excellent receipt. Chop some mushrooms, young and fresh, salt them, and put them into a saucepan with a little gravy, made of the trimmings of the fowl or of veal, a blade of mace, a little grated lemon peel, the juice of 1 lemon. Thicken with flour, and when ready to serve, stir in a tablespoonful of white wine. Egg sauce. A fine white sauce for boiled chickens, turkeys, or white fricassees. Beat up the yolks of 4 eggs with the juice of a fine lemon, a teaspoonful of flour, and a little cold water. Mix well together and set it on the fire to thicken, stirring it to prevent curdling. This sauce will be found excellent, if not superior, in many cases where English cooks use melted butter. If capers are substituted for the lemon juice, this sauce will be found excellent for boiled lamb or mutton. Celery sauce. Cut in small pieces from about 4 to 5 heads of celery, which if not very young must be peeled. Simmer it till tender in half a pint of veal gravy, if intended for white sauce. Then add a spoonful of flour, the yolks of 3 eggs, white pepper, salt, and the juice of 1 lemon. These should be previously mixed together with a little water till perfectly smooth and thin, and be stirred in with the sauce. Cream instead of eggs is used in English kitchens. Tomato sauce. Skin a dozen fine tomatoes. Set them on the fire in a little water or gravy. Beat them up with a little vinegar, lemon juice, cayenne pepper, and salt. Some persons like the yolk of an egg, well beaten, added. Strain or not, as may be preferred. Gravy for a fowl when there is no stock to make it with. Take the feet, wash them, cut them small, also the neck and gizzard. Season them with pepper and salt, onion and parsley. Let them simmer gently for some time in about a breakfast cup of water. Then strain, thicken with flour, and add a little browning, and if liked, a small quantity of any store sauce at hand, and it will prove an excellent sauce. Savory jelly, for cold pies or to garnish cold poultry. Have a bare knuckle of veal and a calf's foot or cow heel. Put it into a stew pan with a thick slice of smoked beef, a few herbs, a blade of mace, 2 or 3 onions, a little lemon peel, pepper and salt, and 3 or 4 pints of water. The French add a little tarragon vinegar. When it boils, skim it, and when cold, if not clear, boil it a few minutes with the white and shell of an egg, and pass it through a jelly bag. This jelly with the juice of 2 or 3 lemons, and pour it into a mold in which are put the yolks of eggs, boiled hard, forms a pretty supper dish. A fine sauce for steaks. Throw into a saucepan a piece of fat the size of an egg, with 2 or 3 onions sliced. Let them brown. Add a little gravy, flour, a little vinegar, a spoonful of mustard, and a little cayenne pepper. Boil it and serve with the steaks. A fish sauce without butter. Put on in a small saucepan a cup of water. well flavored with vinegar, an onion chopped fine, a little rasped horseradish, pepper, and 2 or 3 cloves, and a couple of anchovies cut small. When it has boiled, stir carefully in the beaten yolks of 2 eggs, and let it thicken until of the consistency of melted butter. A fine fish sauce. 1 teacupful of walnut pickle, the same of mushroom ditto, 3 anchovies pounded, 1 clove of garlic pounded, half a teaspoonful of cayenne pepper, all mixed well together and bottled for use. A nice sauce to throw over broiled meats. Beat up a little salad oil with a tablespoonful of vinegar, mustard, pepper and salt, and then stir in the yolk of an egg. This sauce should be highly seasoned. A sauce of this description is sometimes used to baste mutton while roasting. The meat should be scored in different places to allow the sauce to penetrate. Sauce for ducks. A little good gravy with a glass of port wine, the juice of a lemon, highly seasoned with cayenne pepper. Bread sauce. Take a large onion and boil it with a little pepper till quite soft, in milk, then take it out and pour the milk over grated stale bread. Then boil it up with a piece of butter and dredge it with flour. It should be well beaten up with a silver fork. The above can be made without butter or milk. Take a large onion, slice it thin, put it into a little veal gravy, add grated bread, pepper, etc., and the yolk and white of an egg well beaten. Applesauce for goose. Slice some apples, put them in a little water to simmer till soft, beat them to a pulp. Some consider a little powdered sugar an improvement, but as the acid of the apples is reckoned a corrective to the richness of the goose, it is usually preferred without. Mint sauce. Mix vinegar with brown sugar, let it stand about an hour, then add chopped mint and stir together. Onion sauce. Slice finely and brown in a little oil 2 or 3 onions. Put them in a little beef gravy and add cayenne pepper, salt, and the juice of a lemon. This is a nice sauce for steaks. Oiled butter. Put some good butter into a cup or jar and place it before the fire till it becomes an oil. Then pour it off so that all sediment may be avoided. To draw good gravy. Cut some gravy beef into small pieces, put them in a jar, and set it in a saucepan of cold water to boil gently for 7 or 8 hours, adding from time to time more water as the original quantity boils away. The gravy thus made will be the essence of the meat, and in cases where nutriment is required in the smallest compass, will be of great service. Soups are stronger when the meat is cut, and gravy drawn before water is added. Truffle sauce. Peel and slice as many truffles as required. Simmer them gently with a little butter when they are tender. Add to them good white or brown consommé, lemon juice, pepper, salt, nutmeg, and a very little white wine. Mushroom sauce. Take about a pint of fine young button mushrooms. Let them stew gently in a white veal gravy seasoned with salt, pepper, a blade of mace, and if approved, the grated peel of half a lemon. It should be thickened with flour and the yolk of an egg stirred in it, just before serving. English cooks add cream to this sauce. Sweet sauce. The usual way of making sauces for puddings is by adding sugar to melted butter or thin egg sauce, flavoring it with white wine, brandy, lemon peel, or any other flavor approved of. Melted butter. Although this sauce is one of the most simple, it is very rarely that it is well made. Mix with 4 ounces of butter, a dessert spoonful of flour. When well mixed, add 3 tablespoonsful of water. Put it into a clean saucepan kept for the purpose, and stir it carefully one way till it boils. White sauce to throw over vegetables served on toast is made in the same way, only putting milk and water instead of water only. Sauce without butter for boiled puddings. Mix a tablespoonful of flour with 2 of water. Add a little wine, lemon peel grated, a small bit of clarified suet of the size of a walnut, grated nutmeg and sugar. Put on in a saucepan, stirring one way and adding water if too thick. Lemon juice or essence of noyeau or almonds may be substituted to vary the flavor. Sauce Robert for steaks. Chop up some onions, throw them into a saucepan with a bit of clarified fat. Let them fry till brown, then add pepper, salt, a little gravy, mustard, lemon juice, and vinegar. Boil it all and pour over the steaks. Caper sauce. This is merely melted butter with a few pickled capers simmered in it, or they may be put into a sauce made of broth thickened with egg and a little flour. Savory herb powder. It is useful to select a variety of herbs so that they may always be at hand for use. The following are considered to be an excellent selection: parsley, savory, thyme, sweet marjoram, shallot, chervil, and sage in equal quantities. Dry these in the oven, pound them finely, and keep them in bottles well stopped. Seasoning for ducks and geese. Mix chopped onion with an equal quantity of chopped sage, 3 times as much grated stale bread, a little shred suet, pepper, salt, and a beaten egg to bind it. This is generally used for geese and ducks. The onions are sometimes boiled first to render them less strong. English egg sauce. Boil 2 eggs hard, chop them finely, and warm them up in finely made melted butter. Add a little white pepper, salt, a blade of mace, and a very small quantity of nutmeg. Sauce à la tartare. Mix the yolk of an egg with oil, vinegar, chopped parsley, mustard, pepper, and salt. A spoonful of pâté de diable, or French mustard, renders the sauce more piquant. A fine sauce for roast mutton. Mix a little port wine in some gravy, 2 tablespoonfuls of vinegar, 1 of oil, a shallot minced, and a spoonful of mustard. Just before the mutton is served, pour the sauce over it, then sprinkle it with fried breadcrumbs, and then again baste the meat with the sauce. This is a fine addition to the mutton. Asparagus sauce to serve with lamb chops. Cut some asparagus or sprue into 1/2-inch lengths. Wash them and throw them into 1/2 pint of gravy made from beef, veal, or mutton thickened and seasoned with salt, white pepper, and a lump of white sugar. The chop should be delicately fried, and the sauce served in the center of the dish. Brown cucumber sauce. Peel and cut in thick slices 1 or more fresh cucumbers. Fry them until brown in a little butter or clarified fat. Then add to them a little strong beef gravy, pepper, salt, and a spoonful of vinegar. Some cooks add a chopped onion browned with the cucumbers. White cucumber sauce. Take out the seeds of some fresh young cucumbers, quarter them, and cut them into pieces of 2-inch lengths. Let them lay for an hour in vinegar and water. Then simmer them till thoroughly soft in a veal broth seasoned with pepper, salt, and a little lemon juice. When ready for serving, pour off the gravy and thicken it with the yolks of a couple of eggs stirred in. Add it to the saucepan. Warm up, taking care that it does not curdle. Browned flour for making soups and gravies dark and thick. Spread flour on a tin and place it in a Dutch oven before the fire, or in a gentle oven till it browns. It must often be turned that the flour may be equally colored throughout. A small quantity of this prepared and laid by for use will be found useful. Browned breadcrumbs. Grate into fine crumbs about 5 or 6 ounces of stale bread and brown them in a gentle oven or before the fire. This is a more delicate way of browning them than by frying. Crisped parsley. Wash and drain a handful of fresh young sprigs of parsley. Dry them with a cloth. Place them before the fire on a dish. Turn them frequently, and they will be perfectly crisp in 10 minutes. Fried parsley. When the parsley is prepared as above, fry it in butter or clarified suet, then drain it on a cloth placed before the fire. Breadcrumbs for frying. Cut slices of bread without crust and dry them gradually in a cool oven till quite dry and crisp. Then roll them into fine crumbs and put them in a jar for use. Spinach green. Pound to a pulp in a mortar a handful of spinach and squeeze it through a hair sieve. Then put it into a cup or jar and place it in a basin of hot water for a few minutes, or it may be allowed to simmer on the fire. A little of this stirred into spring soups improved their appearance. Velouté, bechamel. These preparations are so frequently mentioned in modern cookery that we shall give the receipts for them, although they are not appropriate for the Jewish kitchen. Velouté is a fine white sauce made by reducing a certain quantity of well-flavored consommé or stock over a charcoal fire and mixing it with boiling cream, stirring it carefully till it thickens. Bechamel is another sort of fine white stock, thickened with cream. There is more flavoring in this than the former. The stock is made of veal, with some of the smoked meats used in English kitchens, butter, mace, onion, mushrooms, bay leaf, nutmeg, and a little salt. An excellent substitute for these sauces can in Jewish kitchens be made in the following way. Take some veal broth flavored with smoked beef and the above-named seasonings. Then beat up 2 or 3 yolks of eggs with a little of the stock and a spoonful of potato flour. Stir this into the broth until it thickens. It will not be quite as white, but will be excellent. Forcemeat or farci. Under this head is included the various preparations used for balls, tissoles, fritters, and stuffings for poultry and veal. It is a branch of cooking which requires great care and judgment. The proportions should be so blended as to produce a delicate yet savory flavor, without allowing any particular herb or spice to predominate. The ingredients should always be pounded well together in a mortar. not merely chopped and moistened with egg, as is usually done by inexperienced cooks. Forcemeat can be served in a variety of forms, and is so useful a resource that it well repays the attention it requires. A superior forcemeat for rissoles, fritters, and savory meatballs. Scrape half a pound of the fat of smoked beef and a pound of lean veal, free from skin, vein, or sinew. Pound it finely in a mortar with chopped mushrooms, a little minced parsley, salt and pepper, and grated lemon peel. Then have ready the crumb of 2 French rolls soaked in good gravy. Press out the moisture and add the crumb to the meat with 3 beaten eggs. If the forcemeat is required to be very highly flavored, the gravy in which the rolls are soaked should be seasoned with mushroom powder. A spoonful of ketchup, a bay leaf, an onion, pepper, salt, and lemon juice. Add this panada to the pounded meat and eggs. Form the mixture into any form required, and either fry or warm in gravy, according to the dish for which it is intended. Any cold meats pounded, seasoned, and made according to the above method are excellent. The seasoning can be varied or rendered simpler if required. Common veal, stuffing. Have equal quantities of finely shred suet and grated crumbs of bread. Add chopped sweet herbs, grated lemon peel, pepper, and salt. Pound it in a mortar. This is also used for white poultry, with the addition of a little grated smoked beef, or a piece of the root of a tongue pounded and mixed with the above ingredients. Fish forcemeat. Chop finely any kind of fish. That which has been already dressed will answer the purpose. Then pound it in a mortar with a couple of anchovies, or a little anchovy essence, the yolk of a hard-boiled egg, a little butter, parsley, or any other herb which may be approved, grated lemon peel, and a little of the juice. Then add a little bread previously soaked, and mix the whole into a paste, and form into balls, or use for stuffing, etc. The liver or roe of fish is well suited to add to the fish, as it is rich and delicate. Forcemeat for dressing fish fillets. Pound finely anchovies, grated bread, chopped parsley, and the yolk of a hard-boiled egg. Add grated lemon peel, a little lemon juice, pepper and salt, and make into a paste with 2 eggs. End of section 9. Section 10 of Readings for Insomnia, Cookery Books by Various. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Read by Verla Viera. Excerpts from the Jewish Manual, Part 2, The Toilette. Chapter 1, The Complexion. The various cosmetics sold by perfumers, assuming such miraculous powers of beautifying the complexion, all contain, in different proportions, preparations of mercury, alcohol, acids, and other deleterious substances, which are highly injurious to the skin, and their continual application will be found to tarnish it, and produce furrows and wrinkles far more unsightly than those of age, beside which they are frequently absorbed by the vessels of the skin, enter the system, and seriously disturb the general health. A fine fresh complexion is best ensured by the habitual use of soft water, a careful avoidance of all irritants, such as harsh winds, dust, smoke, a scorching sun, and fire heat. A strict attention to diet, regular ablutions, followed by friction, frequent bathing, and daily exercise active enough to promote perspiration, which, by carrying off the vicious secretions, purifies the system and perceptibly heightens the brilliancy of the skin. These are the simple and rational means pursued by the females of the East to obtain a smooth and perfect skin, which is there made an object of great care and consideration. And it is a plan attended, invariably, with the most complete success. Cosmetic baths, composed of milk, combined with various emollient substances, are also in frequent use among the higher classes in the East, and we have been informed that they are gradually gaining favor in France and England. We shall give the receipt for one, as we received it from the confidential attendant of an English lady, who is in the habit of using it every week, and we can confidently recommend it to the notice of our readers. The luxurious ladies of ancient Rome, who sacrificed so much time and attention to the adornment of their persons, always superintended the preparation of their cosmetics, which were of the most innocent and simple description. The first receipt we subjoin was one in general use with them, and will be found efficacious in removing roughness or coarseness arising from accidental causes, and imparting that polished smoothness so essential to beauty. An old Roman receipt for improving the skin. Boil a dessert spoonful of the best wheaten flour with half a pint of fresh ass's milk. When boiling, stir in a tablespoonful of the best honey and a teaspoonful of rose water. Then mix smoothly, place in small pots, and use a little of it after washing. It is better not to make much at a time, as when stale, it is liable to irritate the skin. A valuable receipt for the skin. Boil in half a pint of new milk a thick slice of stale bread and a teaspoonful of gum arabic. When boiled, set it at a little distance from the fire to simmer almost to a jelly. Then pass it through a folded muslin and stir in a spoonful of oil of almonds and the same quantity of honey, with a pinch of common salt. When cold, it will be a stiff jelly. A little of this mixture, warmed and spread upon the skin, about the thickness of a crown piece, and left on till it cools, will remove, like magic, all appearance of the dry scurf to which some of the finest skins are subject. An emollient paste. Blanch half a pound of sweet almonds and 2 ounces of bitter almonds, and pound them in a mortar, then make them into a paste with rose water. This paste is a fine emollient. A superior ointment for chaps, roughness, etc. Mix with a gill of fresh cream a spoonful of beaten almonds. When perfectly smooth, put it in toilette pots and use as ointment for chaps, etc. It will keep for a week if a little spirit of camphor is added to it. Wash for pimples. Dissolve half a dram of salt of tartar in 3 ounces of spirit of wine and apply with soft linen. This is an excellent wash for pimples, but, as these are in general the result of some derangement of the system, it will be wiser to discover and remedy the cause than merely attending to the result. Lotion for removing freckles. Mix 1 dram of spirit of salts, half a pint of rainwater, and half a teaspoonful of spirit of lavender, and bottle for use. This lotion will often be efficacious in removing freckles. Cold cream. Warm gently together 4 ounces of oil of almonds and 1 ounce of white wax, gradually adding 4 ounces of rose water. This is one of the best receipts for making cold cream. A fine soap. Blanch and beat to a paste 2 ounces of bitter almonds with a small piece of camphor and 1.5 ounces of tincture of benjamin. Add 1 pound of curd soap in shavings and beat and melt well together and pour into molds to get cool. The above is a very fine soap. Lip salve. Mix together 1 ounce of white wax, the same of beef marrow, with a small piece of alkanet root tied up in muslin. Perfume it according to fancy. Strain and pot while hot. The above is a fine salve for chapped lips. Chestnut paste for rendering the hands white and soft. Boil a dozen fine large chestnuts, peeled and skinned, in milk. When soft, beat them till perfectly smooth with rose water. A teaspoonful of this mixture thrown into the water before washing the hands renders them beautifully white and soft. Superior milk of roses. Boil fresh rose leaves in ass's milk and bottle it off for immediate use. It will be found far more efficacious than the milk of roses sold by perfumers. An excellent receipt for lip salve. Melt 1 ounce of spermaceti, soften sufficiently with oil of almonds, color it with 2 or 3 grains of powdered cochineal, and pour well warm into small toilet pots. We mention the cochineal to color the salve, it being usual to make lip salve of a pale rose color, but we should consider it far more healing in its effects without it. A cosmetic bath. Boil slowly 1 pound of starwort in 2 quarts of water, with 1/2 pound of linseed, 6 ounces of the roots of the water lily, and 1 pound of bean meal. When these have boiled for 2 hours, strain the liquor and add to it 2 quarts of milk, 1 pint of rose water, and a wineglass of spirits of camphor. Stir this mixture into a bath of about 98 degrees. Superior cold cream. Melt together 1 dram of spermaceti, the same quantity of white wax, and 2 fluid ounces of oil of almond. While these are still warm, beat up with them as much rose water as they will absorb. This is a very healing kind of cold cream. The usual cold cream sold by perfumers is nothing more than lard, beat up with rose water, which is heating and irritating to the skin. Paste for rendering the skin supple and smooth, an English receipt. Mix 1/2 pound of mutton or goose fat well boiled down, and beaten up well with 2 eggs, previously whisked with a glass of rose water. Add a tablespoonful of honey and as much oatmeal as will make it into a paste. Constant use of this paste will keep the skin delicately soft and smooth. To remove tan. Cut a cucumber into pieces after having peeled it, and let the juice drain from it for 12 hours. Pour it off, and add to it an equal quantity of orange flower water, with a small piece of camphor dissolved in a wineglass of soft water. Bottle the mixture, and wash the parts that have been exposed to the sun 2 or 3 times in the 24 hours. Eau de Cologne. Mix together 1 ounce of essence of bergamot, the same quantity of essence of lemon, lavender, and orange flower water, 2 ounces of rosemary and honey water, with 1 pint of spirits of wine. Let the mixture stand a fortnight, after which put it into a glass retort, the body of which immerse in boiling water contained in a vessel placed over a lamp. A coffee lamp will answer the purpose, while the beak of the retort is introduced into a large decanter. Keep the water boiling while the mixture distills into the decanter which should be covered with cold, wet cloths. In this manner, excellent eau de cologne may be obtained at a very small expense. Transparent soap. Put into a bottle Windsor soap in shavings, half fill it with spirits of wine. Set it near the fire till the soap is dissolved, when pour it into molds to cool. Milk of roses. Put into a bottle 1 pint of rose water, 1 ounce of oil of almonds. Shake well together, then add 50 drops of oil of tartar. Hungary water. Put into a bottle 1 pint of spirits of wine, 1 gill of water, and half an ounce of oil of rosemary. Shake well together. Lavender water. Take 3 drams of English oil of lavender, spirits of wine 1 pint. Shake in a quart bottle, then add 1 ounce of orange flower water, 1 ounce of rose water, and 4 ounces of distilled water. Those who approve of the musky odor which lavender water sometimes has may add 3 drams of essence of ambergris or musk. Essence of roses. Put into a bottle the petals of the common rose, and pour upon them spirits of wine. Cork the bottle closely, and let it stand for 3 months. It will then be little inferior to otto of roses. Essence of lavender is prepared according to the above recipe, the lavender being substituted for the roses. Scent bags. Small bags filled with iris root diffuses a delicate perfume over drawers, etc. A good receipt for a scent bag is as follows: 2 pounds of roses, half a pound of cypress powder, and half a dram of essence of roses. The roses must be pounded, and with the powder put into silk bags, the essence may be dropped on the outside. Essence of musk. Mix 1 dram of musk with the same quantity of pounded loaf sugar. Add 6 ounces of spirits of wine. Shake together and pour off for use. Oil of roses. A few drops of otto of roses dissolved in spirits of wine forms the esprit de rose of the perfumers. The same quantity dropped in sweet oil forms their huile antique à la rose. Chapter 2. The hair. All stimulating lotions are injurious to the hair. It should be cut every 2 months. To clean it, there is nothing better than an egg beaten up to a froth, to be rubbed in the hair, and afterwards washed off with elderflower water. But clear soft water answers every purpose of cleanliness, and is far better for the hair than is usually imagined. 1 teaspoonful of honey, 1 of spirits of wine, 1 of rosemary, mixed in half a pint of rose water or elderflower water, and the same quantity of soft water, forms an excellent lotion for keeping the hair clean and glossy. A fine pomatum is made by melting down equal quantities of mutton suet and marrow, uncooked, and adding a little sweet oil to make it of a proper consistency, to which any perfume may be added. If essence of rosemary is the perfume used, it will be found to promote the growth of the hair. Rum and oil of almonds will be of use for the same purpose. A warm cloth to rub the hair after brushing imparts a fine, shiny smoothness. As a bandolin to make the hair set close, the following will be found useful and cheap. Take a cupful of linseed, pour over it sufficient boiling water to cover. Let it stand some hours, and then pour over 3 tablespoonsful of rose water. Stir the seeds well about, and strain it off into a bottle, and it will be ready for use. Or take a teaspoonful of gum arabic with a little Irish moss. Boil them in half a pint of water till half is boiled away. Strain and perfume. To remove superfluous hairs, the following receipt will be found effectual, although requiring time and perseverance. Mix 1 ounce of finely powdered pumice stone with 1 ounce of powdered quicklime, and rub the mixture on the part from which the hair is to be removed twice in 24 hours. This will destroy the hair and is an innocent application. In the East, a depilatory is in use which we subjoin, but which requires great care in employing, as the ingredients are likely to injure the skin if applied too frequently or suffered to remain on too long. Mix with 1 ounce of quicklime, 1 ounce of orpiment. Put the powder in a bottle with a glass stopper. When required for use, mix it into a paste with barley water. Apply this over the part and let it remain some minutes, then gently take it off with a silver knife, and the hairs will be found perfectly removed. The part should then be fomented to prevent any of the powder being absorbed by the skin, and a little sweet oil or cold cream should be wiped over the surface with a feather. Chapter 3. Teeth. Water is not always sufficient to clean the teeth, but great caution should be used as to the dentifrices employed. Charcoal, reduced to an impalpable powder, and mixed with an equal quantity of magnesia, renders the teeth white and stops putrefaction. Also, 2 ounces of prepared chalk, mixed with half the quantity of powdered myrrh, may be used with confidence. Or 1 ounce of finely powdered charcoal, 1 ounce of red kino, and a tablespoonful of the leaves of sage, dried and powdered. A most excellent dentifrice, which cleans and preserves the teeth, is made by mixing together 2 ounces of brown rappy snuff, 1 of powder of bark, and 1.5 ounces of powder of myrrh. When the gums are inclined to shrink from the teeth, cold water should be used frequently to rinse the mouth. A little alum, dissolved in a pint of water, a teacupful of sherry wine, and a little tincture of myrrh or bark will be found extremely beneficial in restoring the gums to a firm and healthy state. This receipt was given verbally by one of our first dentists. Every precaution should be used to prevent the accumulation of tartar upon the teeth. This is best done by a regular attention to cleanliness, especially during and after illness. Prevention is always better than cure, and the operation of scaling often leaves the teeth weak and liable to decay. Acids of all sorts are injurious to the teeth, and very hot or cold liquids discolor them. The best toothpick is a finely pointed stick of cedar. Toothbrushes should not be too hard, and should be used not only to the teeth, but to the gums, as friction is highly salutary to them. To polish the front teeth, it is better to use a piece of flannel than a brush. Toothache is a very painful malady, and the sufferer often flies to the most powerful spirits to obtain relief. But they afford only temporary ease, and lay the foundation for increased pain. A poultice laid on the gum, not too hot, takes off inflammation, or laudanum and spirits of camphor applied to the cheek externally, or mix with spirits of camphor an equal quantity of myrrh, dilute it with warm water, and hold it in the mouth. Also, a few drops of laudanum and oil of cloves applied to decayed teeth often affords instantaneous relief. Powdered cloves and powdered alum, rubbed on the gum and put in the diseased tooth, will sometimes lessen the pain. Toothache often proceeds from some irritation in the digestive organs or the nervous system. In such cases, pain can only be removed by proper medical treatment. Chapter 4. Hands. Nothing contributes more to the elegance and refinement of a lady's appearance than delicate hands, and it is surprising how much it is in the power of all, by proper care and attention, to improve them. Gloves should be worn at every opportunity, and these should invariably be of kid. Silk gloves and mittens, although pretty and tasteful, are far from fulfilling the same object. The hands should be regularly washed in tepid water, as cold water hardens and renders them liable to chap, while hot water wrinkles them. All stains of ink, etc., should be immediately removed with lemon juice and salt. Every lady should have a bottle of this mixture on her toilette, ready prepared for the purpose. The receipts which we have already given as emollients for the skin are suitable for softening the hands and rendering them smooth and delicate. The nails require daily attention. They should be cut every 2 or 3 days in an oval form. A piece of flannel is better than a nail brush to clean them with, as it does not separate the nail from the finger. When dried, a little pumice stone, finely powdered, with powdered orris root, in the proportion of 1/4 of a teaspoonful to a teaspoonful of the former, mixed together and rubbed on the nails gently, gives them a fine polish and removes all inequalities. A piece of sponge, dipped in oil of roses and emery, may be used for the same purpose. When the nails are disposed to break, a little oil or cold cream should be applied at night. Sand balls are excellent for removing hardness of the hands. Palm soap, Castile soap, and those which are the least perfumed should always be preferred. Night gloves are considered to make the hands white and soft, but they are attended with inconvenience, besides being very unwholesome, and the hands may be rendered as white as the nature of the complexion will allow by constantly wearing gloves in the daytime and using any of the emollients we have recommended for softening and improving the skin. Chapter 5. Dress. In dress, simplicity should be preferred to magnificence. It is surely more gratifying to be admired for a refined taste than for an elaborate and dazzling splendor. The former always produces pleasing impressions, while the latter generally only provokes criticism. Too costly an attire forms a sort of fortification around a woman, which wards off the admiration she might otherwise attract. The true art of dress is to make it harmonize so perfectly with the style of countenance and figure as to identify it, as it were, with the character of the wearer. All ornaments and trimmings should be adopted sparingly. Trinkets and jewelry should seldom appear to be worn merely for display. They should be so selected and arranged as to seem necessary, either for the proper adjustment of some part of the dress, or worn for the sake of pleasing associations. Fashion should never be followed too closely. Still less should a singularity of style be affected. The prevailing mode should be modified and adapted to suit individual peculiarity. The different effect of colors and the various forms of dress should be duly considered by every lady, as a refined taste in dress indicates a correct judgment. A short, stout figure should avoid the loose, flowing robes and ample drapery suitable for tall, slight women, while these again should be cautious of adopting fashions which compress the figure, give formality, or display angles. The close-fitting corsage and tight sleeve, becoming to the short, plump female, should be modified with simple trimmings to give fullness and width across the shoulders and bust, and a rounded contour to the arms. Flounces and tucks which rise high in the skirt are not suitable to short persons. They cut the figure and destroy symmetry. To tall women, on the contrary, they add grace and dignity. Dresses made half-high are extremely unbecoming. They should either be cut close up to the throat or low. It is, however, in bad taste to wear them very low on the shoulders and bosom. In youth, it gives evidence of the absence of that modesty which is one of its greatest attractions, and in maturer years it is the indication of a depraved coquetry which checks the admiration it invites. It is always requisite for a lady to exert her own taste in the choice of form, color, and style, and not leave it to the fancy of her dressmaker, as although the person she employs may be eminently qualified for her profession, a lady who possesses any discernment can best judge of what is suitable to her style of countenance and figure. In dress there should be but one prevailing color, to which all others should be adapted, either by harmonizing with it or by contrast. In the latter case, the relieving color should be in small quantity, or it would overpower the other in effect. As a general rule, somber negative colors show off a woman to the greatest advantage, just as the beauties of a painting are enhanced by being set in a dull frame. Still, there are some occasions with which the gayer tints accord better, and as propriety and fitness are matters of high consideration, the woman of taste must be guided in the selection of her apparel by the knowledge of the purport for which it is intended, always endeavoring to fix on that shade of color which best becomes her complexion. Chapter 6. Effective Diet on Complexion. As the color of the skin depends upon the secretions of the rete mucosum, or skin, which lies immediately beneath the epidermis, or scarf skin, and as diet is capable of greatly influencing the nature of these secretions, a few words respecting it may not be here entirely misplaced. All that is likely to produce acrid humors and an inflammatory or impoverished state of the blood engenders vicious secretions, which nature struggles to free herself from by the natural outlet of the skin, for this organ is fitted equally to excrete and secrete. Fermented and spirituous liquors, strong tea and coffee should be avoided, for they stimulate and exhaust the vital organs and interrupt the digestive functions, thereby producing irritation of the internal linings of the stomach, with which the skin sympathizes. Water, on the other hand, is the most wholesome of all beverages. It dilutes and corrects what is taken into the stomach, and contributes to the formation of a perfect child. Milk is very nutritious. It produces a full habit of body and promotes plumpness, restores vigor and freshness, besides possessing the property of calming the passions and equalizing the temper. Eggs are, in general, considered bilious, except in a raw state, when they are precisely the reverse. This is a fact now so universally acknowledged that they are always recommended in cases of jaundice and other disorders of the bile. Spices and highly seasoned meats impart a dryness to the skin and render the body thin and meager. Animal food taken daily requires constant exercise, or it is apt to render the appearance coarse and gross. It should be combined with farinaceous and vegetable food in order to correct the heating effects of a concentrated animal diet. Excess as to quantity should be strictly guarded against. When the stomach is overloaded, it distributes a badly digested mass throughout the system, which is sure to be followed by irritation and disease, and by undermining the constitution, is one of the most certain methods of destroying beauty. Chapter 7. Influence of the mind as regards beauty. All passions give their corresponding expression to the countenance. If of frequent occurrence, they mark it with lines as indelible as those of age, and far more unbecoming. To keep these under proper control is, therefore, of high importance to beauty. Nature has ordained that passions shall be but passing acts of the mind, which, serving as natural stimulants, quicken the circulation of the blood and increase the vital energies. Consequently, when tempered and subdued by reason, they are rather conducive than otherwise, both to beauty and to health. It is the habitual frame of mind, the hourly range of thought, which render the countenance pleasing or repulsive. We should not forget that the face is the index of the mind. The exercise of the intellect and the development of noble sentiments is as essential for the perfection of the one as of the other. Fretful, envious, malicious, ill-humored feelings must never be indulged by those who value their personal appearance, for the existence of these chronic maladies of the mind cannot be concealed. On peut tromper un autre, mais pas tous les autres. In the same way, candor, benevolence, pity, and good temper exert the most happy influence over the whole person, shine forth in every look and every movement, with a fascination which wins its way to all hearts. Symmetry of form is a rare and exquisite gift, but there are other conditions quite as indispensable to beauty. Let a woman possess but a very moderate share of personal charms, if her countenance is expressive of intellect and kind feelings, her figure buoyant with health, and her attire distinguished by a tasteful simplicity, she cannot fail to be eminently attractive, while ill health, a silly or unamiable expression, and a vulgar taste, will mar the effect of form and features the most symmetrical. A clever writer has said, "Beauty is but another name for that expression of the countenance which is indicative of sound health, intelligence, and good feeling." If so, how much of beauty is attainable to all? Health, though often dependent upon circumstances beyond our control, can, in a great measure, be improved by a rational observance of the laws which nature has prescribed to regulate the vital functions. Over intellect we have still more power. It is capable of being so trained as to approach daily nearer and nearer to perfection. The thoughts are completely under our own guidance and must never be allowed to wander idly or sinfully. They should be encouraged to dwell on subjects which elevate the mind and shield it from the petty trivialities which irritate and degrade it. Nothing is more likely to engender bitter thoughts than idleness and ennui. Occupations should be selected with a view to improve and amuse. They should be varied to prevent the lassitude resulting from monotony. Serious meditations and abstract studies should be relieved by the lighter branches of literature. Music should be assiduously cultivated. Nothing more refines and exalts the mind. Not the mere performance of mechanical difficulties, either vocal or instrumental, for these, unless pursued with extreme caution, enlarge the hand and fatigue the chest, without imparting the advantages we allude to. Drawing is highly calculated to enhance feminine beauty. The thoughts it excites are soothing and serene. The gentle enthusiasm that is felt during this delightful occupation not only dissipates melancholy and morbid sensibility, but by developing the judgment and feeling, imparts a higher tone of character to the expression of the countenance. Indolent persons are apt to decide that they have no taste for such or such pursuits, forgetting that tastes may be acquired by the mind as well as by the palate, and only need a judicious direction. Frivolous employment and vitiated sentiments would spoil the finest face ever created. Body and mind are, in fact, so intimately connected that it is futile attempting to embellish the one while neglecting the other, especially as the highest order of all beauty is the intellectual. Let those females, therefore, who are the most solicitous about their beauty and the most eager to produce a favorable impression, cultivate the moral, religious, and intellectual attributes, and in this advice consists the recipe for the finest cosmetic in the world, namely, content. End of section 10. Section 13 of Readings for Insomnia, Cookery Books, by Various. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Read by Verla Viera. Excerpts from Secrets of Making Frozen Desserts at Home. 150 tested recipes. Easier, more economical, more delicious. How to freeze ice cream at home. Freezing. 1. Scald the freezer can to be sure it is clean and sweet. 2. Prepare the mixture to be frozen, as described in the recipes in this book. Place the mixture in the freezer can. 3. Assemble the freezer ready for freezing. Packing. 4. Chip the ice in small pieces and mix with coarse ice cream salt in the proportion of 3 to 6 parts of ice to 1 of salt. The 3-to-1 mixture may be used if quicker freezing is desired, but a larger swell is obtained by using the 6-to-1 mixture. 5. Pack ice and salt around the freezer can up to the top. Turn the crank a few times to set the ice and salt. Then add more ice and salt until the top of the can is covered. 6. Start turning the crank, slowly at first. As the mixture begins to stiffen, turn rapidly to secure the desired beating. The special design of the dasher makes it possible to blend and whip the cream to a delightful mellowness. 7. If the directions have been followed, from 3 to 5 minutes should be sufficient to freeze the cream enough to serve at once. When frozen, be sure that the waste hole is not plugged up. Pour off some of the brine until the level of brine is well below the cover of the can. Remove the top of the freezer and take off the can cover. Insert a cork in the can cover to stop up the hole in the top. Remove the dasher and scrape the ice cream into the can. Place cover on the can and add more ice and salt to the level of the cover. It is a good idea to cover the freezer with a thick pad of newspapers or a heavy cloth to keep the air from the ice. 8. Allow the ice cream to set in this freezing mixture until time for serving. Molding the cream. 9. When time comes for serving, if desired, the cream may be turned out in a solid form by removing the can and wrapping it in a cloth wrung out of hot water. By hitting the can, the ice cream will slip out onto a platter or serving dish. Be sure that the cream is tamped down thoroughly before it is allowed to set, if you wish the cream to be served in cylinder form. 10. Many hostesses like to serve their ice cream in a mold. In this case, when the mixture is frozen, place it in the mold and pack it down well so that it will come out in a perfect shape. If 2 or 3 varieties of cream are used, smooth off each layer before adding the next one. Smooth cream on top and cover with a piece of greased and waxed paper, greased side up, cut larger than the mold. Place mold in the top of packed ice and salt so that there is a layer of salt and ice under the mold, with the top completely buried. Let it freeze for from 2 to 3 hours. To remove, wipe the mold with a cloth. Remove the cover and allow the mold to stand for several minutes in a warm place. Ways of serving frozen desserts. Candied rose leaves, violets, and other flowers may be found in shops making a specialty of them, and are decorative to any cream or ice when placed over the top or as a border around the edge of dish. Slices of angel cake or sponge cake may be placed in ice cream dishes, a little fruit syrup poured over each slice, then a half of a peach or slice of pineapple. Fill up the dish with vanilla ice cream with a tablespoonful of whipped cream on top. Decorate with candied fruit. Place ice cream on small glass plates. Pour over 1 tablespoon of crushed sweetened strawberries or other fruits. Top with sweetened whipped cream or with any desired prepared sauce. See recipes for sauces. To make croquettes. Take ice cream from freezer with a scoop. Roll in blanched almonds which have been chopped fine and browned in the oven. Serve in glass plates surrounded with following sauce. Beat up whites of 3 eggs until stiff. Add 1 cup double cream and beat until stiff again. Add 1/2 cup of sugar, 1 teaspoon orange extract, and 1/2 cup chopped preserved cherries. To make sandwiches. Cut cake into slices. Cut slices of ice cream and put between slices of cake. Decorate with powdered macaroons. Scoop out the pulp of well-flavored cantaloupes and half-fill tall lemonade glasses with melon seasoned with a little lemon juice and powdered sugar and dash of cinnamon. Fill up glasses with vanilla ice cream. Decorate with candied lemon or orange peel. To serve bisque. Arrange ladyfingers or oblong sweet wafers in box shape on ice cream plate and tie in place with narrow ribbon. Fill with bisque. Decorate with candied flowers. Remove peeling from bananas and split lengthwise. Sprinkle with powdered sugar and lemon juice. Arrange on oblong ice cream dishes. Place ice cream on bananas. Pour over crushed berries. Top with sweetened whipped cream. Decorate with maraschino cherries. Ice creams. Apple mint ice cream. Mix 2 quarts. 2 ounces bitter chocolate. 1½ cups sweet milk. 1 egg white. 3/4 cup apple jelly. 1 cup whipping cream. 3 drops oil, peppermint flavoring. Cut chocolate into small pieces. Add to milk and heat until chocolate is melted, beating occasionally to blend the chocolate with the milk. Cool. Whip egg white and jelly together until stiff. Add to chocolate milk, mixing thoroughly. Add mint flavoring and fold in whipped cream. Stir mixture thoroughly and chill. Freeze. Banana ice cream. Mix 2 quarts. 1 cup banana pulp. 1½ cups confectioner's sugar. 2 cups heavy cream. 1/8 teaspoon nutmeg. 1 tablespoon powdered gelatin. 2 eggs. 1½ cups milk. 1 tablespoon lemon juice, 1/8 teaspoon salt, 2 tablespoons cold water. Beat eggs and sugar until light. Add salt, nutmeg, milk, and gelatin which has been softened in the cold water and dissolved over a pan of hot water. Crush bananas with a silver fork to a fine pulp. Stir in lemon juice and add to mixture. Whip cream and add. Freeze. Caramel ice cream. Makes 2 quarts. 1/4 cup sugar. 1/2 cup water. 2 egg yolks. 1/2 cup sugar. 1/4 cup flour. 1½ cups milk, 1/2 teaspoon vanilla, 1/2 teaspoon Maybelline flavoring, 1 cup whipping cream. Heat 1/4 cup sugar until it is melted. Cook 2 minutes, then add 1/2 cup water and stir until sugar is dissolved. Cook until syrup spins a thread. Pour gradually over egg yolks that have been beaten until light lemon-colored, beating constantly. Blend 1/2 cup sugar and flour, add milk, and cook until thickened, stirring thoroughly and frequently. Add egg yolk mixture and cook several minutes longer. Cool. Stir in flavorings and fold in whipped cream. Freeze. Chocolate ice cream. Makes 2 quarts. 1½ cups milk. 1½ cups confectioner's sugar. 6 tablespoons grated chocolate. 2½ cups heavy cream. 2 eggs. 2 tablespoons cold water. 1 tablespoon vanilla extract. Beat eggs and sugar until light. Stir the cold water into chocolate and dissolve over hot water, then add to eggs and sugar. Stir in milk, strain through fine sieve. Flavor with vanilla, add salt to cream, and whip until stiff. Fold this into mixture. Freeze. Chocolate ice cream. Makes 2 quarts. 2½ squares chocolate, cut into small pieces. 1/4 teaspoon salt. 2 cups milk. 1 cup sugar. 2 eggs. 4 drops almond flavoring. 1 tablespoon vanilla. 1 cup whipping cream. Melt the chocolate in the double boiler. Add the salt, milk, and sugar, and scald thoroughly. Beat to blend the mixture. Separate the eggs and pour a little of this mixture slowly over the beaten egg yolks. Return all to the double boiler and cook until slightly thickened. Chill, add flavorings, and fold in the egg whites beaten stiff, then the cream whipped. Freeze. Mrs. O. E. Frisbee, Wyoming. Coffee ice cream. Makes 2 quarts. 3 cups milk. 1½ cup sugar. 2 tablespoons arrowroot. 2 cups cream. 6 tablespoons ground coffee. 2 eggs. Scald the coffee and milk to boiling point. Strain through cheesecloth. Beat eggs, sugar, and arrowroot together. Stir in milk, and cook in a double boiler until mixture thickens. Remove from fire, and when cold, add cream whipped stiff. Freeze. Sour cream ice cream. The cream may be thick sour and used with perfect safety, so that the most fastidious person could not detect it. It is not only a matter of economy, but makes a much richer cream than the same amount when sweet. For chocolate, make a custard of 1 quart of milk, 2 eggs, 1 cup of sugar, and 1 tablespoon of flour. Melt 2 squares of chocolate and add to the custard. When cold, flavor with 1 teaspoon of vanilla. Just before freezing, add 1 pint of sweet milk, 1 cup of sugar, and 1 pint of sour cream, and beat until thoroughly mixed. Freeze as usual. Sour cream may be used with other custards in a similar manner, adding after the custard is cool, beating thoroughly. It is especially delicious with fruits. Date ice cream. Makes 4 quarts. 1 pound dates, 4 tablespoons orange juice, 1 quart cream, 1 egg, 1 teaspoon flour, 1 cup sugar, 1/8 teaspoon salt, 2 cups scalded milk. Wash and seed the dates and put through food chopper. Mix with orange juice, 1/2 cup cream, and blend by setting mixture in double boiler over the flame. Mix the flour, sugar, and salt, and add to scalded milk. Cook over boiling water for 10 minutes. Pour slowly over the lightly beaten egg and cook over water for 5 minutes, stirring constantly. Cool and add remaining 3½ cups cream, and lastly, the date mixture. Freeze. Ginger orange ice cream. Mix 4 quarts. 2 oranges, 2 cups hot water, 3 cups cold water, 1½ teaspoons ginger, 1¼ cup sugar, grated rind of 1 lemon, 3 egg whites, beaten stiff, 2 cups heavy cream, whipped. Peel the oranges, shred the peel, and add 1 cup hot water. Boil for 5 minutes, then drain and discard the water. Add another cup hot water and ginger. Boil again for 5 minutes, drain, and discard the peel. Make a syrup of this water, the sugar, and the grated lemon rind. When the sugar is dissolved, add the orange pulp which has been cut into small pieces and all the fiber and membranes removed. Simmer for 2 or 3 minutes. Remove from the stove, cool, and add the remaining 3 cups cold water and freeze to a mush. Beat the egg whites until stiff, fold in the whipped cream, and stir into the half-frozen fruit mixture. Continue freezing until firm. Allow the ice cream to ripen in the freezer for 3 or 4 hours. Serve in sherbet glasses with lemon-flavored golden sponge cake. Mrs. G.K. Foote, Montana. Golden Glow ice cream. Makes 4 quarts. 2 quarts milk, 1 tablespoon flour, 1 quart canned apricots, 2 cups sugar, 1 cup hot water, 2 oranges, 1 cup grated pineapple. Boil sugar and water 5 minutes. Add pineapple, apricots cut fine with juice, and juice and pulp of oranges. Scald milk, add flour moistened with 2 tablespoons milk, and cook 2 minutes. Blend with the fruit mixture, cool, and freeze. Grape nuts ice cream. Mix 4 quarts. 1 quart whole milk. 1/2 cup dark brown sugar. 1/2 cup sugar. 2 eggs. 1 teaspoon vanilla. 1/8 teaspoon salt. 2 junket tablets dissolved in 1 tablespoon cold water. 1 cup whipping cream. 1/3 cup grape nuts. Heat the milk until lukewarm and add the sugars. Separate the eggs and add the yolks well beaten, the vanilla, salt, and dissolved junket tablets. Stir thoroughly and chill. Then fold in the egg whites beaten stiff and the cream whipped and combined with the grape nuts. Stir thoroughly to mix all the ingredients. Freeze. Miss G.B. Dolezal, Iowa. Lemon ice cream. Makes 2 quarts. 3 eggs. 1 1/4 cup sugar. 1 cup cream. 1 tablespoon vanilla. 1 tablespoon lemon flavoring. 1 1/2 quarts milk. Beat the eggs until light. Add the sugar and continue beating until smooth. Add the cream and the flavorings and mix thoroughly. Add vanilla and freeze. When the desired consistency, remove the paddle and pack the ice cream in salt and ice mixture. 1 quart of crushed strawberries, sweetened, may be added to the ice cream if desired, or the plain ice cream is delicious, served with chocolate sauce. Mrs. D. Morgan, Nebraska. Marshmallow ice cream. Makes 2 quarts. 40 marshmallows. 2 cups milk. 1 pint whipping cream. 2 tablespoons vanilla. Place the marshmallows and milk over hot water and stir until the marshmallows are melted. Remove from the heat, add the vanilla, and cool. When chilled and beginning to thicken, fold in the cream, whipped until thick but not stiff. Freeze. 2 squares of melted chocolate added to the hot mixture makes a pleasing variation. Mrs. R. G. McQuarrie, Colorado. Nut and raisin ice cream. Makes 2 quarts. 1 cup raisins. 1 cup pecans or walnuts. 2 cups milk. 1 quart thin cream. 1 tablespoon flour. 1 cup sugar. 1 tablespoon vanilla. Pinch of salt. Grind nuts and raisins fine. Cover with some of the milk and stand on low flame until thoroughly mixed. Add sugar, flour, and salt to cream and milk. Flavor with vanilla and put into freezer. When half frozen, add the cooled mixture of nuts, raisins, and milk. Finish freezing. Prune ice cream. Makes 2 quarts. 1 pound prunes. Juice 1 lemon. 1 1/2 cup sugar. 3 cups milk. 1 cup cream. 1/2 teaspoon salt. Wash prunes, soak overnight, and cook slowly in water to cover until tender. Then add sugar and lemon juice. Allow to simmer 10 minutes. Strain juice. Seed prunes and put pulp and juice through potato ricer. Add to milk, cream, and salt. Cool and freeze. Peach ice cream. Makes 2 quarts. 1 cup milk. 1 cup sugar. 2 tablespoons flour. 2 cups mushed peach pulp. 2 tablespoons lemon juice. 1 cup whipping cream. Combine sugar and flour. Add milk and cook until thick, stirring occasionally. Cool. Add peach pulp and lemon juice. Fold in whipped cream. Freeze. Strawberry ice cream, cooked. Makes 4 quarts. 1 cup milk. 2 cups crushed berries. 2 cups sugar. 2 cups heavy cream. 3 eggs. 1 tablespoon flour or cornstarch. 1/8 teaspoon salt. Scald milk and stir thoroughly and slowly into well-beaten eggs, 1 cup of sugar, salt, and flour. Cook in double boiler, stirring constantly until mixture thickens. Remove from fire, and when cold, fold in cream whipped stiff. When partially frozen, stir in thoroughly the strawberries which have been crushed and pressed through a sieve and sweetened with remaining sugar. Freeze. Strawberry ice cream. Makes 2 quarts. 1 cup milk, scalded. 3/4 cup sugar. 2 tablespoons flour. 1 quart strawberries. 1 cup whipping cream. Combine 1/2 cup sugar and flour. Gradually add scalded milk and cook until thick. Cool. Add strawberries that have been forced through sieve and to which the remaining 1/4 cup sugar has been added and dissolved. Fold in whipped cream. Freeze. Strawberry ice cream. Mix 4 quarts. 2½ cups milk. 1½ cups confectioner's sugar. 3 eggs. 1 tablespoon powdered gelatin. 2½ cups heavy cream. 1 tablespoon vanilla extract. 2 tablespoons cold water. 1/8 teaspoon salt. 2 cups crushed sweetened strawberries. Beat eggs and sugar until light. Add gelatin which has been softened in the cold water and dissolved over boiling water. Stir in milk. Add vanilla, cream, to which salt has been added, whipped until stiff in an ice-cold bowl. Press strawberries through a sieve, sweeten, and stir into mixture. Freeze. 6 threes ice cream. Mix 4 quarts. 3 cups milk. 3 cups cream. 3 cups sugar. Juice of 3 lemons. Juice of 3 oranges. 3 bananas, mashed. Combine the milk, cream, and sugar, and stir until the sugar is dissolved. Place in an ice cream freezer and freeze until thoroughly chilled and of a mushy consistency. Add the fruit juices and the mashed bananas and continue freezing until firm. Remove the dasher and pack in salt and ice for several hours. This makes about 1 gallon. Mrs. D.O. Harton, Jr., Arkansas. Velvet ice cream. Makes 4 quarts. 1 quart milk. 2 cups brown sugar. 2 tablespoons cornstarch. 4 egg yolks, beaten. 1/4 teaspoon salt. 1/2 teaspoon maple flavoring. 4 egg whites, stiffly beaten. 2 cups heavy cream, whipped. Heat the milk to scalding. Mix the sugar with the cornstarch and egg yolks. Gradually add the scalded milk and cook until the mixture begins to thicken, stirring constantly. Remove from stove, add salt and flavoring, and set aside to cool. Fold egg whites and whipped cream into the cooled custard and freeze. Mrs. M.J. Cook, Iowa. Vanilla ice cream. Makes 2 quarts. 2 eggs. 2 cups milk. 3/4 cup sugar. 1 tablespoon vanilla. 1/4 teaspoon salt. 1 cup heavy whipping cream. Separate the eggs and make a soft custard of the milk, egg yolks, and sugar. Beat the egg whites stiff, and over them pour the hot custard and mix thoroughly. Add the vanilla and salt, and when cold, the whipped cream. Freeze. Vanilla ice cream variations. 1. Add 1/2 cup chopped dates and 1 cup chopped walnuts. 2. Add 1 small bottle maraschino cherries. Run through the food chopper with about half the liquid. 3. Caramelize to golden brown half the sugar used in making the custard, and add to the hot milk before adding the egg yolks. 4. Add 1 cup any well-mashed fresh fruit. 5. Add 2 tablespoons orange marmalade. 6. Add 1 cup grape nuts. 7. Add 1 cup chocolate cookie crumbs or 1 cup almond macaroon crumbs. 8. Add 2 squares melted chocolate to the custard foundation. Mrs. Stephen K. Perry, Vermont. Vanilla ice cream. Makes 2 quarts. 2 eggs. 1 cup milk. 1/4 cup sugar. 1/4 cup white corn syrup. 2 teaspoons vanilla. 1 cup whipping cream. Scald the milk. Separate the eggs, and add the egg yolks mixed with the sugar. Add the corn syrup and cook until the mixture coats the spoon. When cool, add the 2 egg whites beaten stiff, the vanilla, and the whipped cream. Freeze. Mrs. C.F. Hagens, Texas. Winter mint ice cream. Makes 2 quarts. 1 cup condensed milk. 3/4 cup water. 1 teaspoon green vegetable coloring. 3 tablespoons essence of wintergreen. Unless very strong, then use only 1 tablespoon. 1 1/3 cups whipping cream. Mix the condensed milk, water, coloring, and flavoring, and chill thoroughly. Whip the cream to the thickness of custard and fold into the chilled mixture. Freeze. Mousses. Butter brickle mousse. Makes 1 1/2 quarts. 1/2 pound butter brickle candy, or 1/2 pound toffee. 1 pint whipping cream. Put the candy through a food chopper using the coarse knife. Whip the cream until it holds its shape. Fold in the ground candy. Freeze. Cherry and orange mousse. Makes 2 quarts. 6 oranges. 1 lemon. 1 cup sugar syrup, hot. 1 teaspoon powdered gelatine. 3/4 cup cherries, diced. 3 cups heavy cream. Add strained juice of oranges and lemon to sugar syrup with gelatine dissolved in the sugar syrup. Add cherries, and when cold, add whipped cream. Freeze. Chocolate mousse. Makes 2 quarts. 6 tablespoons grated bitter chocolate. 1 cup milk. 1 tablespoon gelatine. 1 teaspoon powdered cinnamon. 1 1/2 cups confectioner's sugar. 2 1/2 cups heavy cream. 1 tablespoon vanilla. 2 tablespoons cold water. Scald milk, chocolate, and sugar to almost boiling. Soak gelatine in the cold water and add to hot mixture. When cold and slightly thickened, flavor with cinnamon and vanilla. Fold in whipped cream. Freeze. Fruit mousse. Makes 2 quarts. 1 pound white grapes. 1/4 pound candied pineapple. 1/4 pound marshmallows. 1 cup whipping cream. Pinch of salt. Skin and seed grapes, cut in half. Cut candied pineapple in thin, small slices. Cut marshmallows in fourths. Add salt to slightly whipped cream and fold in grapes, pineapple, and marshmallows. Freeze. Coffee mousse. Makes 1 quart. 1/2 cup coffee, double strength. 3/4 cup sugar. 1½ cups whipped cream. Scald coffee and sugar to almost boiling. Fold in whipped cream. Freeze. Ginger mousse. Makes 1½ quarts. 1 teaspoon gelatine. 1 tablespoon cold water. 1 cup milk. 1/4 cup finely chopped preserved ginger. 2 tablespoons ginger syrup. 1/3 cup sugar. 1/8 teaspoon salt. 2 teaspoons vanilla. 1/2 pint whipping cream. Soak the gelatine in the cold water. Dissolve over hot water and slowly add the milk, preserved ginger, chopped very fine, and remaining ingredients except the whipping cream. Mix and chill. Whip the cream until stiff and gradually fold in the gelatine mixture. Freeze. Maple mousse. Makes 2 quarts. 1½ cups maple syrup. 1 cup milk. 1 tablespoon cold water. 2½ cups heavy cream. 1 tablespoon powdered gelatine. 1/2 cup chopped nuts. Mix the syrup and milk. Add gelatine, which has been soaked in cold water and then dissolved over boiling water. Fold in cream whipped stiff. Freeze. Peach mousse. Makes 2 quarts. 1½ cups crushed peach pulp. 2¼ cups heavy cream. 1 tablespoon powdered gelatine. 2 cups confectioner's sugar. 1 cup milk. 2 tablespoons cold water. Mix milk, sugar, and peach pulp. Add gelatine, which has been soaked a few minutes in the cold water and dissolved over boiling water. Fold in cream whipped stiff. Freeze. Raspberry mousse. Makes 2 quarts. 1 pint raspberries. 3/4 cup sugar. 1½ cups whipping cream. Force berries through a sieve. Add sugar and cook until berry mixture thickens, stirring frequently. Cool. Fold in whipped cream. Freeze. Mint mousse. Makes 2 quarts. 1 teaspoon gelatine. 2 tablespoons cold water. 1 cup milk. 1/2 pound peppermint, lime, or wintergreen candies, crushed. 1/8 teaspoon salt. Fruit coloring, red or green. 2 cups whipping cream. Soak the gelatin in the cold water 5 minutes. Heat the milk and then dissolve the gelatin in it. Add the finely crushed candies and the salt. Cool and add coloring if desired. Delicate green if peppermint or lime is used. Red if wintergreen mints are used. Fold in cream whipped until thick. Freeze. Mrs. J. E. Wise, Ohio. Strawberry mousse. Makes 2 quarts. 1 quart strawberries. 1 to 1¼ cup sugar. 1½ cups whipping cream. Mash and force the berries through a coarse sieve. Add sugar and cook until mixture begins to thicken, stirring mixture frequently toward the last of the cooking period. Cool. Fold in whipped cream and freeze. Strawberry mousse. Makes 2 quarts. 2½ cups heavy cream, 2 cups confectioner's sugar, 2 cups crushed strawberries, 1 tablespoon powdered gelatine, 2 tablespoons cold water. Crush strawberries and press through a sieve. Add sugar and gelatine which has been softened in the cold water and dissolved over boiling water. When mixture is cold and slightly thickened, fold in cream whipped stiff. Freeze. Toasted coconut mousse makes 2 quarts. Brown lightly 1 cup of coconut, either in the oven or under a broiler. Chill thoroughly and add to the vanilla ice cream mixture before freezing. Sherbets. Apricot sherbet makes 2 quarts. Peel the skins from 1 can of apricots, then mash through a sieve. Add the apricot juice, the juice of 1 lemon and 1 orange, 1 cup sugar, and 1 cup water to the apricot pulp. Freeze to a mush and add 1 egg white stiffly beaten. Mix thoroughly and continue freezing. Mrs. H. Adams, Maryland. Apricot sherbet makes 2 quarts. 1 quart apricots, 2½ cups sugar, 1 egg, white only, 8 cups water, 1/2 cup lemon juice, 1 teaspoon powdered gelatine. Wash apricots, crack and remove a few kernels from pits. Put these with apricots and cook in the water until the fruit is soft. When cool, press through a sieve and measure 5 cups of juice and pulp. Add sugar, lemon juice, and gelatine which has been dissolved by soaking in a tablespoon cold water and then over boiling water. Whip white of egg until stiff and add. Freeze. Peaches or other fruit may be used in place of apricots. Sweeten to taste. Banana sherbet makes 2 quarts. 1 cup water, 1½ cup sugar, 6 medium-sized bananas, 2 cups orange juice, 2 tablespoons lemon juice, 1 egg white. Combine water and sugar and boil until sugar is dissolved. Cool thoroughly. Peel bananas and press through ricer. Add orange and lemon juice and combine with sugar syrup. Beat egg whites slightly and add to the mixture. Freeze. Cranberry sherbet makes 1½ quarts. 2 cups cranberries, 2 cups sugar, 2 cups milk, 1 cup cream, 3 tablespoons lemon juice. Wash and cook cranberries in water until tender. Press through potato ricer, then add sugar and cook until sugar dissolves. Then chill well. Add lemon juice, milk, and cream, and pour into freezer. Economy sherbet makes 1½ quarts. 1 package orange-flavored gelatine, 2 cups boiling water, 1/4 cup lemon juice, 1/2 cup sugar, 2 egg whites beaten stiff. Dissolve the flavored gelatine in the boiling water and add the lemon juice and sugar. Cool. Fold in the egg whites, beaten stiff. Freeze. Mrs. H. G. Damon, Vermont. Favorite sherbet makes 2 quarts. 3 1/4 cups sugar, 3 cups water, juice of 3 lemons, juice of 3 oranges, 3 ripe bananas, crushed, 3 egg whites, beaten stiff. Mix the sugar and water and boil 5 minutes, then cool. Add the juice of the lemons and oranges, then the crushed bananas. Freeze to a mush, and then fold in the stiffly beaten egg whites and continue freezing until firm. Mrs. J. A. Badgley, Illinois. Fruit sherbet. Makes 2 quarts. 3 cups sugar. 3 pints water. Juice of 3 lemons. Juice of 3 oranges. 3 bananas, sliced thin. 1 No. 2 can crushed pineapple. 1 egg white, beaten stiff. Mix the sugar and water and cook 5 minutes. Cool slightly and add the fruit juices and the fruit. Pour in ice cream freezer and add the stiffly beaten egg white. Freeze. Mrs. B. L. Parham, Indiana. Glenridge sherbet. Makes 2 quarts. 4 cups water. 1 cup sugar. 1 tablespoon gelatine. 4 tablespoons cold water. 2 tablespoons finely chopped fresh mint. Juice of 4 lemons. Make a syrup of sugar and water. Dissolve the gelatine in 4 tablespoons cold water. Combine the 2 and add lemon juice and chopped mint. Freeze. Grape sherbet. Makes 1 quart. 20 marshmallows. 1 cup grape juice. 2 tablespoons orange juice. 4 tablespoons lemon juice. 1/4 cup egg whites. 1 tablespoon sugar. Place marshmallows and grape juice in a double boiler and heat together, stirring frequently until the marshmallows are melted. Remove and add the fruit juices and chill. Beat the egg whites and sugar together. Fold thoroughly into the jellied grape mixture and freeze. Mrs. M. Spruill, Colorado. Grapefruit sherbet. Makes 2 quarts. 4 grapefruits, 3 cups water, 2 eggs, whites only, 1½ cup sugar, 1 cup orange or other fruit juice. Boil together for 10 minutes the water and sugar. When cold, add strained juice of grapefruits, or enough to measure 3 cups. Add orange or fruit juices. Whip whites of eggs and add to mixture. Freeze. Lemon cream sherbet. Makes 1 quart. 1/3 cup lemon juice. 1½ cups milk. 1/2 cup thin cream. 1/8 teaspoon salt. 2 teaspoons gelatine. 1/4 cup cold water. 1/3 cup sugar. 1/3 cup white corn syrup. 1 teaspoon grated lemon rind. Soak the gelatine in the cold water and dissolve over hot water. Mix together the remaining ingredients and add gradually to the gelatine mixture. Freeze. Mrs. R. H. Otto, Connecticut. Lemon milk sherbet. Makes 1½ quarts. 1 quart of milk, 2 cups of sugar, juice of 3 lemons. Dissolve the sugar in the milk and partly freeze before adding the strained lemon juice. Crushed or preserved fruit served with the sherbet adds much to the deliciousness. Lime sherbet. Makes 1½ quarts. 20 marshmallows. 1 cup boiling water. 1 cup ginger ale. 1/4 cup fresh lime juice. 1 teaspoon lemon juice. Green vegetable coloring. 1 tablespoon sugar. 2 egg whites. Melt the marshmallows in the boiling water. Add the ginger ale, fruit juices, and coloring, and cool. Add the sugar to the beaten egg whites. Beat and combine with the lime mixture. Freeze. Mrs. W. N. Hubbard, Massachusetts. Orange cream sherbet. Makes 1½ quarts. 1 cup orange juice. 1 tablespoon lemon juice. 1/2 cup evaporated milk. 1 egg white. 1 teaspoon gelatine. 1 tablespoon cold water. 3/4 cup sugar. 1/4 cup water. 1 teaspoon grated orange rind. Soak the gelatine in the tablespoon of cold water for 5 minutes and soften over boiling water. Boil the sugar, water, and orange rind together and strain into softened gelatine. Add the fruit juices and cool. When thoroughly chilled, whip the evaporated milk and egg whites separately and combine. Then fold slowly into the fruit and gelatine mixture and freeze. To whip evaporated milk, chill it thoroughly, then whip until it is thick. Mrs. L. Estes, California. Orange fruit sherbet. Makes 2 quarts. 1 cup sugar. 2 tablespoons lemon juice. 1/2 cup cream. 2 cups orange pulp and juice. 1½ cups water. Boil sugar and water for 10 minutes and then cool. Cut oranges in halves crosswise and carefully remove pulp in pieces together with remaining juice. Measure 2 cups and add lemon juice. Combine with cold sugar syrup. Freeze to a soft mush and fold into the sherbet the cream which has been whipped. Recover freezer and freeze stiff. Orange pineapple sherbet. Makes 4 quarts. 2 cups sugar. 2 cups water. 1 cup crushed pineapple and juice. 1 bottle orange crush. Juice of 1 lemon. 2 cups whole milk. Boil the sugar and water for 5 minutes. Remove from the stove and set aside to cool. Add the remaining ingredients and mix thoroughly. Freeze. Mrs. B. Knight, Tennessee. Pineapple sherbet. Makes 2 quarts. 3/4 cup sugar. 1½ cups water. 1 tablespoon gelatine. 1/4 cup cold water. 1/2 cup pineapple juice. Juice of 1 lemon. Juice of 1/2 orange. 1 cup shredded pineapple, drained. 1/8 teaspoon salt. 2 egg whites. 1/2 cup whipping cream. Boil the sugar and water together 5 minutes. Add the gelatine, which has been soaked in the cold water 5 minutes. When cool, add the fruit juices and pineapple. Freeze. Add the salt to the egg whites and beat stiff. Whip the cream until thick but not stiff, and combine with the partially frozen mixture. Then fold in the egg whites and continue freezing. This is C.M. Tichakek, Nebraska. Pineapple cream sherbet. Makes 1½ quarts. 3 cups grated fresh pineapple. 1½ cup sugar. 2 cups cream. Cover pineapple with sugar. For canned pineapple, use 1 cup only, and let stand 3 hours. Add the cream. Freeze. Raspberry sherbet. Makes 1½ quarts. 1 pint red raspberries. 1/2 cup water. 1/2 cup whipping cream. 3/4 cup sugar. 2 tablespoons lemon juice. 1 egg white. Put the fresh berries in a saucepan with the water and sugar. and cook for 5 minutes. Press through a sieve and add the lemon juice. With canned berries, omit the water. Simply heat in their own juice and press through a sieve. Cool. Beat until light, and then fold in the egg white, beaten stiff, and beat the mixture again. Fold in the cream, whipped until thick, and stir well. Freeze. Mrs. R. H. Otto, Connecticut. Puddings and bisques. Alaska pudding. 1½ cups orange juice, 1 teaspoon vanilla, 2/3 cup chopped almonds, 1/4 cup lemon juice, 1½ cups powdered sugar, 1 pint heavy cream. Blanch almonds and brown them in the oven before chopping. Mix the fruit juices with half of the sugar and let stand until sugar is thoroughly dissolved. Whip the cream, adding the rest of the sugar, the vanilla, and the chopped nuts. Pour over the first mixture. Freeze. Chocolate raisin pudding. 2½ cups milk, 1¼ cup sugar, 2 squares bitter chocolate, grated, juice and grated rind of 1 lemon, 1 tablespoon vanilla, 1 tablespoon arrowroot, 2 cups cream, 1 cup chopped seedless raisins, 2 eggs, 1/8 teaspoon salt. Scald milk and stir slowly over the beaten eggs, sugar, arrowroot, salt, grated melted chocolate, and chopped raisins. Cook mixture in a double boiler, stirring constantly until it thickens. When cold, add cream, juice, and rind of lemon and vanilla. Freeze. Frozen caramel pudding. 1 can condensed milk, 1 cup whipping cream, 1 teaspoon vanilla, 1/2 cup chopped maraschino cherries, 1/2 cup crushed nut meats. Cover the can of condensed milk with boiling water and boil 3 hours. Remove and chill thoroughly. Whip the cream until thick but not stiff, and gradually add the caramelized milk, thoroughly mixing it into the cream. Flavor with the vanilla and add the maraschino cherries and nut meats. Freeze. Frozen custard. 1½ quarts scalded milk, 1/2 cup sugar, few grains salt, 2 tablespoons cornstarch, 1 egg, 1 tablespoon vanilla. Mix together 1/4 cup sugar, cornstarch, and a few grains of salt. Pour the scalded milk over this mixture and return to the double boiler. Cook 20 minutes. Beat the egg until light and add 1/4 cup sugar. Pour the hot milk mixture over it, stirring constantly. Return to double boiler and cook 3 minutes longer. Remove from stove, thoroughly chill, and add vanilla. Freeze. Frozen custard with meringues. 2 cups diced meringues, maraschino syrup, 4 cups milk, 6 egg yolks, 2/3 cup sugar, 1 teaspoon salt, 1 tablespoon vanilla. Cut the meringues into small pieces and cover 2 cups with maraschino syrup. Let stand for 1 hour. Scald 4 cups milk in a double boiler. Beat the egg yolks and add sugar and salt and beat again. Dilute with a little of the hot milk. Mix thoroughly and stir in the balance of the milk. Stir and cook until mixture coats the spoon slightly. Strain. Add vanilla. Chill and freeze. When the mixture begins to harden, open freezer and stir in 2 cups of meringues. Freeze hard. Frozen plum pudding. 1/2 cup milk, 1/2 cup sugar, 2 squares chocolate, grated, 2 cups whipping cream, 1 cup chopped raisins, 1/4 cup chopped dates or figs, 1/2 cup finely chopped nut meats, 1/4 cup maraschino cherries, chopped, 1 teaspoon vanilla. Put the milk in a saucepan, add the sugar and grated chocolate, and cook until the chocolate is melted and the mixture is slightly thick. Chill. Whip the cream until thick but not stiff. Add the chilled chocolate mixture, vanilla, fruits, and freeze. Note: the raisins and dates should be cooked in a small amount of water, which is allowed to evaporate, then chopped and added to the mixture. The nut meats may be omitted. Marshmallow pudding. 1/2 pound marshmallows, milk or cream to cover, 1/2 pint double cream, ground walnut meats. Cut marshmallows to fourths. Cover with milk or cream and soak 5 hours. Freeze, but do not freeze solid. Whip the cream and serve over frozen marshmallows, sprinkling with ground walnuts. Mexican frozen pudding. 1½ cups milk, 1 cup brown sugar, 2 eggs, 12 maraschino cherries, chopped, 1/4 cup English walnut meats, chopped, 1 cup whipping cream. Scald milk, add sugar. Pour over slightly beaten eggs. Cook on low until consistency of thin custard, stirring frequently. Cool. Fold in whipped cream, cherries, and nuts. Freeze. Pineapple pudding. 3 cups milk, 2 cups grated canned pineapple, 1/4 cup grated coconut, 1 teaspoon lemon extract, 1½ cups cream, 4 egg yolks, 1 cup sugar, 1 tablespoon arrowroot, 1/4 teaspoon salt. Scald milk and stir into well-beaten eggs, sugar, salt, and arrowroot. Cook mixture in double boiler, stirring constantly until it thickens. Remove from fire, and when cold, add cream, pineapple, coconut, and lemon extract. Freeze. Macaroon date bisque. 2 cups heavy cream, 4 eggs, 1 dozen macaroons, crushed fine, 1 tablespoon lemon juice, 1 cup milk, 3/4 cup sugar, 1/2 cup dates, chopped fine, 1/2 teaspoon almond extract, 1/8 teaspoon salt. Scald milk and stir slowly over well-beaten eggs and sugar. Dry macaroons in hot oven and crush fine. Stir into mixture. Add chopped, seeded dates, lemon juice, almond extract, and salt. Fold in the cream whipped stiff. Freeze. Macaroon orange bisque. 1 cup milk, 2 cups cream, 1 cup powdered macaroons, 1/4 cup candied orange peel, 4 egg yolks, 1 cup sugar, 1 cup orange juice and pulp, 1 teaspoon orange extract, 1/8 teaspoon salt. Scald milk and stir slowly over well-beaten eggs and sugar. Dry macaroons in oven and roll or crush to a powder. Add to mixture. Add orange juice and pulp, candied orange peel, chopped fine, orange extract, and salt. Fold in cream, whipped stiff. Freeze. Pineapple bisque. 4 egg yolks, 1 1/4 cup sugar, 2 cups whipping cream, 4 tablespoons cake crumbs, 1 small can grated pineapple, 1 cup orange juice. Beat yolks of eggs with sugar until thick. Add cream whipped, crumbs, pineapple, and orange juice. Freeze. Pistachio bisque. 4 cups cream, 1 cup powdered macaroons, 1/2 cup peanuts, chopped fine, 1/2 cup almonds, chopped fine, 1 teaspoon vanilla extract, 1/2 cup pistachio nuts, chopped fine, 1 teaspoon pistachio extract, few drops green vegetable coloring, 1 cup confectioner's sugar. Dissolve sugar and cream, add powdered macaroons, chopped nuts, extracts, and green coloring. Freeze. Serve with lemon cream sauce if desired. Parfaits. Angel parfait. 1 cup sugar, 1/4 cup water, 3 egg whites, 2 cups whipping cream, 1 tablespoon vanilla. Boil the sugar and water until the syrup will thread when dropped from a fork. Pour slowly over the egg whites, beaten stiff, and beat until fluffy. Let cool and add the cream, whipped, and the vanilla. Freeze. Banana and browned almond parfait. 1 tablespoon gelatine, 2 tablespoons cold water, 6 ripe bananas, 1/2 cup powdered sugar, few grains salt, 2 tablespoons lemon juice, 3/4 cup almonds, 2 cups cream. Soak gelatine in water 5 minutes and dissolve over boiling water. Put bananas through potato ricer, add sugar, salt, lemon juice, and dissolved gelatine. Add almonds which have been browned in oven and crushed fine. Let mixture stand until it begins to congeal, then fold in stiffly beaten cream. Freeze. Caramel parfait. 1 cup sugar, 1/2 cup water, 2 cups cream, whipped, 1 tablespoon vanilla, 6 egg yolks. Caramelize 1/2 cup sugar. Add the water slowly and stir until dissolved. Add the remaining 1/2 cup sugar and cook until mixture threads. Pour slowly over beaten egg yolks. Cook in the top of a double boiler until the mixture thickens. Cool. Then fold in the cream which has been beaten stiff. Add vanilla and pour into mold. Freeze. Caramel coffee parfait. 1/2 cup brown sugar, 2 cups evaporated milk, 2 cups heavy cream, 4 egg yolks, 2 tablespoons powdered coffee, 1/2 cup water, 3/4 cup granulated sugar, 1 teaspoon vanilla. Caramelize brown sugar. Scald coffee, evaporated milk, and water to boiling point and stir in caramelized sugar. When sugar is dissolved, strain and stir the mixture slowly into well-beaten yolks of eggs and granulated sugar. Cook in double boiler, stirring constantly until it thickens. Remove from fire, and when cold, add the vanilla and cream whipped stiff. Freeze. Chocolate parfait. 3/4 cup sugar, 3/4 cup water, 3 egg whites, 2 ounces bitter chocolate, grated and melted. 1 teaspoon vanilla, 1½ cups whipping cream. Cook sugar and water until syrup spins a long thread. Gradually pour over stiffly beaten egg whites, beating until cold. Add vanilla and melted chocolate that has been cooled. Fold in whipped cream. Freeze. Chocolate parfait. 6 tablespoons grated bitter chocolate. 4 eggs. 1 cup thin cream or evaporated milk. 1¼ cup sugar. 2½ cups heavy cream. 1 teaspoon vanilla. 1/2 teaspoon cinnamon. Dissolve chocolate over boiling water and stir into it thin cream or evaporated milk and well-beaten eggs and sugar. Cook in double boiler until mixture thickens. Strain, and when cold, flavor with vanilla and cinnamon. Add cream, whipped stiff. Freeze. Coffee parfait. 1 cup milk, 1/4 cup coffee, 3 egg yolks, 1/8 teaspoon salt, 1 cup sugar, 3 cups cream. Heat milk and coffee together. Beat egg yolks and add sugar and salt. Pour milk and coffee slowly on this mixture and cook until slightly thickened. Cool, add cream, and freeze. Coffee parfait. 2/3 cup sugar, 1/2 cup coffee, double strength, 2 egg whites, 1 teaspoon vanilla, 1½ cups whipping cream. Boil sugar and coffee until the syrup spins a long thread. Cool. Add vanilla and fold in whipped cream. Freeze. Fruit parfait. 1 3/4 cup sugar, 4 egg yolks, 1/2 cup grated pineapple, 1/2 cup orange juice and pulp, 1 teaspoon extract, 1/2 cup water, 2½ cups cream, 1/4 cup lemon juice, 1/2 cup maraschino cherries cut fine. Boil sugar and water 5 minutes. Stir into well-beaten eggs when mixture is cold. Add fruit and juice. Whip cream stiff and fold in. Freeze. Golden parfait. 1 cup sugar, 1/2 cup water, 2 cups cream, whipped, 1 tablespoon vanilla, 6 egg yolks. Boil sugar and water slowly until it threads. Pour slowly over beaten egg yolks. Cook in the top of a double boiler until the mixture thickens. Cool. Then fold in the cream which has been beaten stiff. Add vanilla and pour into mold. Freeze. Hawaiian Delight Parfait. 1 can sliced pineapple, 4 eggs, 5 tablespoons sugar, 1 pint heavy cream. Out of 1 can Hawaiian pineapple, prepare 1/2 cup finely chopped fruit, leaving remaining slices to line a 2-quart mold. Beat the egg yolks until very light. Add sugar and mix with 3/4 cup pineapple syrup. Stir over fire until as thick as cream, then remove from heat and add chopped pineapple. When cold, whip the cream solid, fold 2 mixtures together, pour into mold, and freeze. End of section 13.